Hey, what's going on, everybody? Now, lately in the past few days, I've gotten a little bit of uproar on my social media pages because I'm doing an event with a longtime client and friend, Jared Firestone, Team Israel athlete in the skeleton sport. Now, I've gotten some comments kind of bashing me or coming at me as sideways, saying that I shouldn't be doing this or why am I doing that? And I wanted to confront this, but I'm not gonna do it as Mr. Mental Muscle. I'm gonna do it as Nicholas Davenport. Now, we're both 6'1", 225 pounds. We both have 140 IQs. We're both creative thinkers with great cognitive flexibility. But the difference between Nicholas and Mr. Mental Muscle, you ain't talking to Nicholas any type of way. Now, with that being said, all the uproar, people coming at me or anyone else for that matter, you need to think about things. Now, I always bring things from the mental perspective, so let's look at it. Now, I'm gonna talk about Pocahontas. Now, you're like, where does this come in? But if you know me, I'll make it make sense, so bear with me. Now, remember Pocahontas. Now, the Disney version, there's a scene where John Smith was about to get executed. Now, despite this being completely historically inaccurate, where that scene did kind of happen, John Smith was not Pocahontas' love interest. Pocahontas was much younger. She actually married John Rolfe, but whole other topic. The point being is, during that scene leading up, both the British side and the Native Americans were singing this song called Savages. Now, they're saying they're barely even human. Wonder if they even bleed. Savages, barely even human. But both sides were saying the same exact things. But guess what? You're gonna believe what your side pushes, and they're gonna believe what their side pushes. So at the end of the day, it's human nature to click together in your groups. That's how we evolve. So that's the first part. When we talk about confirmation bias, obviously there's gonna be things said on either side. And that's not just with this Israel-Palestine issue, but in general. Now, for years, humans have gone head-to-head, colonialism, taking over different territories. That has not changed and has been going on since humans could walk upright. So if you don't understand human behavior in general, it becomes over ideologies. And that's not where I come in. I'm objective, I'd be neutral as possible, but you gotta look at this is just human behavior. And going back to the Pocahontas scenario, I call this the Alaska-Russia effect. You go so far to one extreme, to one side, you come right back around from Alaska, and you end up in Russia because they're right across from each other. And that's what this is, because I could get more personal and say Nicholas Davenport, he created Mind Body One, created Mr. Mental Muscle moniker. He tries to promote brain health, mental health, performance. He does it in a unique way. But how many of you support that? I don't know. I don't have millions of followers. I think outside the box and literally change how people think. I've worked with over people with 40 different countries, every continent that's livable. But yeah, I don't get the love I think I deserve. But I'm not mad about it. You know why? Because that is your right. So the moment you start infringing on other people's perspectives and they're not doing anything to damage you, that's just your beliefs. Simple and straightforward. So anything you go across that's on you. Now, we can talk about how the media affects this. Of course, there's gonna be sides to a story. But guess what? No matter what outlet you look at, it's going to have an influence depending on who's telling it. Mark Twain had a famous quote that said, people who don't read the news are uninformed. People who do read the news are misinformed. Now, granted, the news is in a much different medium now with social media and TV, but guess what? It's the same perspective. So I look at both sides. So if you're caught up in the matter of, oh, is Nick supporting this or that? You're missing the bigger picture, because as a black man in America, there's a lot of issues that I deal with that you could give a damn about. I'm being real. But there's also other countries that are getting bombed, and depending on what side of the fence you sit on, you're considered the bad guy. So let's not get caught up in these ideologies, because at the end of the day, there's races, there's religions, there's creeds, there's culture, but human nature is human nature regardless of where you live on this earth. There's a reason why there's a collective consciousness where everyone across the world over time through history had similar aspects of how they built civilization, even though they had no contact. Because you could talk about colonialism simply with America. Okay, the British took over, the Spaniards took over, the French took over, the Dutch took over. Guess what? Before that, it was the Native Americans. But guess what? Native Americans had different tribes. Tribes took over different territories. They fought, they killed. So we get caught up in the semantics of, oh, they're bad people, they're good people. Guess what? There's people of all types on all sides. There's never really the majority. Even here in America, I'm an American, but should I be faulted what a president that represents my country does? No. But at the end of the day, we get caught up in these, we follow the trends, regardless if you want to admit to it or not, we all do, even me. But it's to the degree that it influences you, is that's going to make the difference. So think back to that Pocahontas. Before you call someone else a savage or judge what they believe, take a look in the mirror and see, are you the one who's ignorant and don't know what they're talking about? So with that being said, Nicholas Davenport out, and get your mind right.